It's been almost 2 months since Cardano hit its all-time high. Right now, Cardano down around 35%. Many people exiting, leaving, walking away from ADA. The question on a lot of people's minds, is it over for Cardano? The question on my mind, is it just getting started? What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. It really does mean a lot to me as I grow this YouTube channel and as I continue to track my crypto journey. That's what this is. That's what I'm doing. Cardano is obviously at the top of that crypto journey. It's one of my big interests. It has been for a while. This is the data I've been tracking. This isn't financial advice, everybody. This is just me tracking this stuff. And I want to take a second before we dig into these charts and what I'm looking at, especially on this 6-hour chart. It's a mess, but I'm going to break down very simply what's going on there. Before I do, I tweeted earlier, I said, I don't have the desire or time to debate cryptos or defend Cardano from social media attacks. I can't believe people spend so much time on social media creating negative content against each other. Life is way too precious to spend time on such things. Love. And I might get some comments. Dan, don't even focus on the negativity. But you have to keep in mind, this channel, especially in the last year, has grown a lot. It's been a blessing. I'm grateful for that. But with that came just this overwhelming sense of like, I don't even know how to explain it, but when you're getting comments from every direction, a lot of awesome ones, I should say mostly awesome ones, but you're getting so much negativity and you're seeing so many people attacking, not just me, but projects attacking each other. It really does something, and it has done something to me. And I want to talk about it just briefly to start the video because I think it could apply to you as you're in crypto, you're invested in crypto, you're on Twitter, you're on YouTube. Because I'm thinking of Ecclesiastes 1, King Solomon saying, all is vanity. Everybody, this stuff is meaningless. If God is not in the equation with anything in life, including crypto, it really is meaningless. And to take it a step further, and we're seeing people just attack each other, argue all day, every day about crypto projects. It's like, I personally have to step back from that and be like, and this is what I've been doing the last month or two, is just like, what am I doing in crypto? Because I don't want to add to that. I want there to be purpose in like the time I'm spending doing this stuff besides just tracking the charts, because that's fun. But I want there to be more purpose as we grow Crypto Capital Venture. And so I say that to encourage you. Don't get so wrapped up into any of it. And if you're in Cardano and you have your reasons for being in Cardano, enjoy your journey, learn from your journey. If there's other projects, enjoy that. But we need to step back and like reevaluate, I think we really do, and how we're approaching social media and crypto. I wanted to start with that. I hope it's okay. Let's jump into the video. That was a few minutes. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to redo that. This is the weekly. Let's dig in. We've been here before, everybody. I question at the beginning of the video, is this just the beginning? Because like, when we're looking at the weekly chart and we're looking at the progress that Cardano is making technically, right? Technologically, it looks crazy on the weekly, like, oh man, this is years and years and years. But like, if you're looking at the macro, and I've done this before, just zoom all the way out. This is the beginning. We haven't even got to, you know, these other parts of the Cardano roadmap that address scalability and governance. And we haven't even seen this explosion of companies and startups that are building on Cardano. Smart contracts just got released. That stuff is happening. And there's, I think, a lot of people that just can't be patient for just this long-term investment mindset, and that's fine. But I just want to let you know, as I'm doing these videos and I do zoom in on the charts, the 6-hour we're going to look at today. I want you to just know from my perspective, like I'm more thinking long-term. Obviously, I'm trying to take profit short-term, like, you know, in recent gains, in bull market cycles. Of course, I'm going to be taking profits, but I'm looking long-term. I'm thinking long-term, I'm building long-term. And so when I address these charts, that's where I'm coming from. So now going to the weekly, this is kind of a macro view, right? In a sense, because we've been using data, these hard forks. Here's a hard fork. That's the smart contract from Alonzo. This is the Mary hard fork. Here's Shelly. This is nothing new. This weekly consolidation above the 20-week moving average, We went into this entire hard fork anticipating pretty much the exact same thing as what happened in previous hard forks. The consolidation to the 20-week moving average, the consolidation to the 20-week moving average. What's happening right now, I don't know why it seems to surprise a lot of people, not just because Cardano data is right before our eyes, but crypto in general. This is what happens. Cryptos take turns. There have been many times when Cardano was just exploding, and you can see it on this weekly chart, Cardano just taking off, just doing epic things on the charts, and other cryptos doing absolutely nothing. And it's on the flip side. Like that can happen to Cardano. Cardano doing absolutely nothing, actually going down, and other cryptos doing something. Bitcoin hitting an all-time high while Cardano is doing this, right? So we have to like really take all these different moving parts, put it into perspective. At least I do for my mental sanity to get a clear roadmap of what's ahead for Cardano potentially on these long-term charts. So that's the weekly. The consolidation is there. And as we come down, as we get this squeezing consolidation and the RSI cools down, the momentum oscillator, the quicker moving momentum oscillator here, we're about to enter that oversold area. When that starts happening, then I start kind of getting even a little bit more bullish than I already am. So you might be thinking, Dan, Cardano's down like 35% and you're bullish. And that is how it is. Like it's kind of like the Bitcoin bear market. It became very easy to get bullish at the bottom of the bear market when Bitcoin's at like $4,000 because it's oversold. It's just opportunity. And so the same thing is true for Cardano. Opportunity. It's just, I mean, for me personally, I'm not at that accumulation area just yet. Cardano would need to dip a little bit more for me to start really kind of putting some fiat in, but it's like not that far. It really is not that far as we approach oversold on the stock RSI, and the RSI, the slower moving momentum oscillator, cools down. That's the weekly, but let's really dig into these charts. It took me 7 minutes to get here, but this is cool stuff, I would say, on the daily chart. We talk about consolidation. We talk about, well, how can we even be surprised with what Cardano's doing? Because we have been here before. It just is what it is. And here it is. It's 55 days to be exact from all-time high for Cardano. So it is all the way back here, September 2nd, to where we are now. 55 days of just, wow, downward trend, consolidation. It wasn't long ago we were hitting all-time high. Cardano was hitting all-time high May 15th, right? May 15th, all-time high, above $2. And then look, it consolidated for 65 days. And people exiting, walking away, getting frustrated. And not only that, this entire move, so similar to this move. And we've talked about it. The 20-day moving average cross below the 50-day moving average right there, that blue line. And we have the 20-day moving average cross below the 50-day moving average right here. And we know drawing into the 200-day moving average, 100% in play. And drawing into the 200 moving average is what really just happened today. Cardano hitting right around $1.80. Let's talk about this move. Let's dig into this entire thing. Actually, all of this right here. Let's start with this clip. This clip is from October 17th. Real quick, ping pong is just getting very, very squeezed into the apex. So will there be a breakout to the downside? Will Cardano break to the upside? This is what I'm watching for. That's it. This is all we can ever do, everybody. We paint the data on the screen. We set up the structure that is playing out, and then we anticipate every scenario. This is what I'm waiting for. And now we're getting these moves. So mentally, I've been just waiting. And if you've been watching my videos, you know that. Just been waiting for Cardano to do something. So let's break all of it down on this chart. In that video, I was looking at this descending triangle. I was looking at a symmetrical triangle, a smaller symmetrical triangle right in there in blue. Let me break it down for you. So I know the chart is messy, but I want to just talk about this and you'll be able to see exactly what's going on in like 20 seconds. Let's talk about the descending triangle in yellow, right? So descending triangle is just boom, lower highs, and just this area at the downside of just support right down here. And it's right in the vicinity where Cardano is right now, the $1.90 to $2 range. We've talked about it because it was a lower trend line area for this descending triangle. That's what we're looking at in the descending triangle. The reason I have 3 yellow lines is because as this formed, we kind of had this first descending triangle right here, right? That Cardano broke out of, but never put in a higher high from this high, right? So then we had kind of this new trend line, or I'm sorry, this new upper trend line, right? Right here, that second yellow line. And then Cardano did the same thing from that new swing high, lower high, from this lower high. Cardano did the same thing and it failed to break above this previous high. So it's just like we still just have this ultimate story of lower highs, and that's a descending triangle. So however you want to chart it, doesn't even matter. There's a descending triangle, lower highs, and then we have this common trend line at the bottom, which is this horizontal lower trend line at this $1.90 to $2 area. So this is where Cardano is right now. Literally, as I do this video, I want to anticipate downside. First off, let me get that out of the way, and then we can talk about a bounce. I tweeted earlier, I think Cardano's getting ready to bounce. I kind of do, and it might not. So be extremely careful out there, everybody. This is just my opinion, but this is to the downside. Let's visit this. The downside target, first off, for the symmetrical triangle, as we've been tracking it, has been $1.70. So let me actually zoom in to track, because this is the move. We've been waiting for this move out of the symmetrical triangle, and we literally got it. We got the move out of the symmetrical triangle being in white, and here it is. There's the break. Boom. Now, did we hit $1.70? We did not. We hit right around $1.81. So that $1.80 area, that's tough. Does the target have to be hit exactly? Or could that be it for Cardano? Could that be kind of just that symmetrical triangle breakout to the downside? Or is it taking a break right now, going to revisit that $1.70? I can't answer that. I really can't. But what I do know is we got the breakout to the downside. And now, if we open up the 6 hour, here's what we can potentially anticipate for this bounce scenario. Cardano, if you look at this chart, is obviously not only testing this lower trend line of this descending triangle that I just charted. That's an important area for Cardano. But right now we're getting to this area on the 6 hour RSI, very similar to these other areas on the RSI where Cardano was kind of bottoming out at this lower trend line of the descending triangle. So there's a very strong case that Cardano could bottom out once again in the vicinity of $1.90 to $2, and we might just get a turnaround for Cardano to kind of at least mess around in this apex of the descending triangle once more, right? Will we get the breakout that we want to see to the upside, $3 range breakout target, by the way, for Cardano out of this descending triangle, that yellow line? Maybe. The other thing that's in play here for a bounce is just the fact that we did break below the lower trend line of the white symmetrical triangle that you see here. We broke below the lower trend line, and so often is the case that we just get these moves right back to the apex, right back to the triangle. Whether or not that move leads to a breakout through that area or just resistance and back down, that's something we track. That's why I do videos so often. But just that alone, we see this happen so often for these setups, symmetrical triangles. In particular, if you look at the data for symmetrical triangles, pullback rate of 65% of the time. And when I'm looking at this data, I just want to throw this out there and remind you, look at this data. This is based off Bukowski on the patternsite.com in terms of symmetrical triangles and bull markets. Upward 60% of the time for symmetrical triangles, 74% of the way to the triangle apex. Just notice, I have it charted here. This is 73% of the way to the apex. Cardano broke to the downside. Do you see how that after just getting this consolidation in the triangle, look how that data that we use so much on this YouTube channel, look how it played out. It wasn't exact, 73%. It could have been 68%. But either way, 73%. And that data says 74%. And that's why we continue to utilize this data. And another data point would be a pullback, right? And what did we say? 65% of the time, we see a pullback for these things. So I'm anticipating a potential pullback. It's not guaranteed once again, but it's something I'm on the lookout for. One thing I know, this move to the downside, would have loved to see it to the upside, but it just doesn't surprise me at all. This is why I track the data, so I'm not surprised. I'm ready. I'm chilling. I'm relaxed. I'm mentally prepared. That's why I do these things. Now, going back to this chart, the messy chart, right? Let me actually, just so we can clear this up, let me get rid of a couple of these lines. There's the descending triangle. just to give you a sense of the downside, we know the upside is in $3 range. The downside is in that $1.40 range for Cardano, $1.30 to $1.40 range. Be prepared for it. It's all I know. It's all I know how to say. If we get in an environment like that, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm just going to go hardcore buying that dip. But for me, that is kind of this area where I will likely start accumulating Cardano with fiat once again. And it's been a while, really, since I've done that. And if we look at Cardano right now, it's would enter an environment, at least on the 6 hour, you can look at a daily too, it would enter a very oversold environment if it did reach that target to the downside. But we can, we can hope for the best here on this chart, see if we get this bounce for Cardano, at least to the upper trend line, test that once again, back to this symmetrical triangle, apex, test that, and let's see. The resistance for Cardano right now, if Cardano does get a bounce, is really all up in that area. It's essentially 210 up to 225. If you go to the daily chart, check it out. This is what happened. Cardano failed at these moving averages to right around 223 for the 50-day moving average, that blue line, and right around 215 for the 20-day moving average. Cardano still needs to get back above that area for it to do so. That's the area of resistance. And if we go to the 6 hour, it's also the area of resistance for these trend lines and these setups of structure. So that's what I'm watching on Cardano. This was a long video. I really appreciate all of you watching. I hope it's of value to you. This is what I'll be watching for Cardano. Would love to see a bounce right now. If not, we know what to anticipate to the downside as Cardano continues to consolidate and it's approaching oversold. Real quick, just want to look at the daily chart on the RSI. You can see it's getting very close to this oversold line on the RSI. And last time we were there on this RSI, remember, all the way back here when the 200 daily moving average was tested back in July. So let's see what happens, everybody. I appreciate you. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.